It's my honor to adjourn today's meeting in memory of someone we all know, and I'm sure I won't be the only one speaking here, memory of Sheriff William B. Kolender, a local law enforcement legend who wore the badge with honor for more than a half a century. Sheriff Kolender passed away October the 6th after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease, and he was 80 years old. Bill was born on May 23rd, 1935 in Chicago and was raised here in San Diego. His father was a working class man and an Orthodox Jew who ran a jewelry store downtown, and he didn't want his son to become a cop. But after graduating from San Diego State University, Bill joined the force anyway in 1956 and quickly climbed the ranks. 5 years after being hired as a patrolman, Bill became a sergeant, the youngest officer at 26 to hold that rank. In 1965, he was promoted to lieutenant, and three years later, he became the youngest captain in the department's history. In 1973, he became the city's youngest ever assistant chief, and in 2 years after that, the youngest deputy police chief. Bill was appointed police chief in 1975. He was 40 years old, the youngest big city police chief. He served with distinction in that office for 13 years. Bill is widely recognized as a visionary who developed community-based policing. He worked hard to build strong relationships with the city's minority communities and create true partnerships between agencies. After his retirement from the San Diego Police Department, Bill was appointed by Governor Pete Wilson as the director of the California Youth Authority, where he championed rehabilitation and educational programs for the state's youngest and most serious offenders. In 1994, Bill was sworn into office, the office of sheriff. He took on the challenge by bringing the department together and transforming it into a professional team with a common purpose and a shared mission. He is credited with modernizing the department and becoming a political heavyweight. The public confidence towards law enforcement grew, and Bill Kolender was reelected as sheriff in 1998, 2002, and 2006. Recognized wherever he went in San Diego, Sheriff Kolender seemed larger than life. He was friendly, quick with a joke, and could always identify with a working class. But he is remembered most for his personal touch. When a deputy was injured, he would stand by the hospital bed. If he lost a deputy, he felt it his personal responsibility to be the one to tell the family. He cared deeply for his frontline deputies and officers, and he loved them as family. Sheriff Kolender is survived by his wife Lois, sons Michael and Dennis, daughter Randy, and stepdaughter Jody. The public memorial is being planned, and the Kolender family requests that in lieu of flowers, donations be made to the Alzheimer's Association. Bill was a great man and a great friend. Years ago, my daughters always enjoyed going to the Padre ball games, sitting with Bill Kolender. And they didn't sit with their dad, they sat with Bill Kolender because he was full of jokes. So my family will greatly miss him, but I'm sure the entire county will. Also, we loved him, we loved his dedication, and the innovation that he brought to the county of San Diego. And with that, I'll go to my colleagues, if any of you have a comment. Supervisor Jacob?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, my condolences to Lois and the Kolender family on their loss. And it's also a big loss for the region as well. Bill was a one-of-a-kind. He touched all corners of our county. First, as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, as a San Diego police chief, then as our sheriff. During his years in uniform, he wasn't just a crime fighter. He was a community builder. He pioneered community-oriented policing. He knew that stronger ties between residents and law enforcement meant stronger neighborhoods. And we saw that firsthand, both in the communities of Spring Valley and Lakeside in my district. He brought local law enforcement into the modern age. And I remember him working hard to improve sheriff stations and build new ones, which we jointly worked together on, and to make sure our deputies had the best and the latest tools at their disposal. He had a big personality. He liked to tell jokes, and he was really good at it. He made everybody laugh. And it was a relief sometime under stressful situations. His language could get salty at times, and he never lost sight of his roots, and he had real heart. To lose him to Alzheimer's disease is heartbreaking. This illness has robbed so many lives and devastated so many families, and now has claimed a community giant. We are a better, safer, stronger county today because of Bill Kolender. And he'll be missed, but his legacy will go on forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Cox?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also would like to extend my condolences to Lois and the Kolender family. I knew Bill probably more casually when I was in elective office in Chula Vista, but I really got to know him a lot better when we were both serving in the Wilson administration. I was the director of local government, and he was the director of the California Youth Authority, and had a chance to spend a lot of time with him on planes flying up there and back and forth. And he was just, as everybody has said, and I'm sure will continue to say, was an icon, a class act in regards to the way he conducted himself. Certainly the innovation that he brought wherever he was, whether it was with the city of San Diego as police chief, or the California Youth Authority, or certainly as our sheriff for a good number of years. Innovation is I think, was a part of his DNA. And to see the collaborative effort that he worked for, and the fact that in San Diego County, we have a reputation across the United States for having a law enforcement community that truly does work together. And I think that's a result of the efforts of Bill Kolender and the other law enforcement personnel that he worked with. He literally was larger than life. I think it was easy for him wherever he came into a room to be the focus, the center of attention, the voice of reason, however you want to describe it. And it was for that reason that no matter, whether you had a Republican governor or a Democratic governor, I mean, he was a confidant to certainly Pete Wilson, who probably knew him best, but he was also a confidant to Gray Davis and to Arnold Schwarzenegger and to Jerry Brown. It was just a hallmark of his ability to work with all people across political lines, across ethnic lines, reaching out into the community, bringing different diverse components of this region we call San Diego together to solve problems, and he will be dearly missed.
Supervisor Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's hard to imagine that Bill Kolender is with us, but I had the pleasure of knowing him and working with him for over 30 years, and it began as part of an earlier Pete Wilson administration when he was mayor of San Diego, and I was serving on the Planning Commission, and we interacted there. It was when I really first got to know Bill. His election as sheriff really occurred just before we came on the Board of Supervisors, and that what we had started at the Planning Commission and as a city councilman, where he was serving for some time, we overlapped. But it was really on the Board of Supervisors that we did a lot of work, and he is sheriff. If there's one word that could sum up Bill Kolender, and we'd probably all have a different word, humor, Greg mentioned, but I think warmth would be a very, very, very key. His law enforcement expertise and presence were so strong, so indisputable, that rarely did he have to put on that authority look. He was authority. He didn't have to pretend or enhance it in any way. But he was very, very, very friendly, and he was friendly to everyone. He was friendly to the officers who he loved. He was friendly to the bureaucrats he worked with, and he was even friendly to the politicians who he tolerated. He was a friend to everyone except the bad guys that he had to put in jail, and the public loved Bill Kolender. It wasn't something that he learned. It wasn't a talent that he had. It was part of who Bill Kolender was, plain and simple. And it's something that we're all going to miss. Our condolences have to go out to his immediate family, to his family by profession, and to every one of the thousands of San Diegans for whom Bill Kolender was a personal friend and who now feel a hole and an emptiness in their hearts. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Supervisor Dave Roberts?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Each one of us have talked about our relationship with the former sheriff, and I also want to offer my condolences to Lois and the family, and also to all the deputy sheriffs that have lost an icon. You know, I actually knew Bill through his daughter, Randy, and it was a different relationship than my colleagues here experienced, because I knew the personal side of Bill. And I remember when Randy Kolender Hawk first introduced me, she was just so proud. She said, "That's my dad." And she just really, you know, was just proud of the family and her kids and, you know, his grandchildren. And that's really what I think I remember when we're talking about how we're going to remember this true legend in our county. He did so many wonderful things publicly, but he was also a family man. And, you know, I really especially want to offer my condolences to Randy Kolender Hawk and her husband Paul and their children who have lost a loved one. And it was really a second loss, the first being Alzheimer's, which is such a dreadful disease that destroys families, but then to lose him again. So my condolences to the entire family. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you to my colleagues. Truly, we lost a legend here in San Diego County. And part of our legacy, one of the reasons we're well governed is we had him as the sheriff.